So if you're a player that kind of is mad and angry at Wizards of the Coast and you hate sealed product, this video is it's probably for you, because we're talking about singles and the explosion that is happening in the singles market right now. We're talking about Commander Masters as well as upcoming products and what's happening inside these product lines when Wizards of the Coast makes mistakes on mispricing. It looks like a lot of players are taking advantage of the single side of the market. Guys, we have a lot to cover. Let's get started. Do you think Wizards of the Coast really understands how badly they've messed up the market space for Magic right now? Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel. And that's exactly what's happening. Imagine you're looking at a booster box in a store. It's a set you're enjoying. And let's face it, a lot of the sets they've put together are fantastic. They're well-built, well-designed spaces. They are great to play inside Lord of the Rings. It's amazing to think what we're going to do in Wilds of Eldraine. I mean, even what happened with Dominaria United and Aftermath, maybe the storylines were weak, but the actual card concepts and designs, I really enjoyed them. But every time I look at a booster box now, I look at the price, and so do you. You look at that price and you go, how much is this box again? The guy's like, oh, it's this, Canadian price. Oh, it's like $174.99. And you put that box down and you look up the cards and you go, what are the cards I'm after again? That card's $40, that card's $30, that card's $40. So that's like $100 for the 3 cards I really want to get. Instead of $200 a box, you can get the cards you want for less than that. You're cherry picking the very best out of that product line. That's where players are at in the singles market for Magic. They are en masse buying the single individual cards to make their decks better, to make them more powerful, to make them more workable without spending and providing Wizards of the Coast, your local LGS and the distributor, everyone else in that chain, including Amazon, money. You're only giving them the piece of the money that is most important to you. Now, this is where it gets interesting because the singles market exploding the way it is, the understanding that there are so many singles being sold that my top 10 video is going to be crazy again this weekend. The Saturday top 10 for modern cards, and then the reserve list top 10 has crazy stuff going on right now. There's only one reserve list card I want to share with you guys, and it is related to the Eldrazi Commander deck. This is Scorched Ruins from Weatherlight. This card, in the last 6 days, doubled in price. Most people missed it, but it doubled in price. I've mentioned this card for a long time on the channel. If you're a regular viewer, you know I've mentioned this one. When Scorched Ruins comes into play, sacrifice 2 untapped lands or bury Scorched Ruins, add 4 colorless mana to your mana pool. This card at one point was at $80. It's been around the $25 mark for quite a while now, okay? 25 bucks. It's been a very affordable card for players. I bought a couple of play sets when it was like 10 bucks. I remember telling people to buy it then because it was super cheap. And yes, the card has lots of uses, especially if you're playing Eldrazi. It makes sense. And the popularity of those Eldrazi Commander decks coming on board for Commander Masters has caused a resurgence in all kinds of sales. Just like Soldevi Digger, though, these prices are going to fall. They're not going to hold. This is FOMO. This is, wow, look at the market space. How many of these things were available? And now how many more can get brought online and sold to the consumer? Consumer demand will be met. The price will go down. If you're patient and you wait 90 days, that card's going to be around 30 bucks. You'll save yourself about 30% off what it is now. Be patient. But if you have to buy it right now, this is my moment to say, shill for me, man. Go ahead and use my TCG affiliate link. It is found in the description of every single one of my videos. You click on that TCG link, it takes you for your shopping experience. This channel gets a 3.5% kickback on anything you spend. And that means we can get more cards for this channel for the giveaways and prizes and stuff. Appreciate everyone who takes the time to do it. But that's not all. Because guess what? There are other strange things we need to discuss. This is Fangorn Forest, Commander, Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings continues to sell. But not only that, this is just a reskinned Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. Now, this card's 20 bucks. It is more than double the price of Yavimaya Cradle of Growth from Modern Horizons 2. So a reskinned card like this continues to hold value. Whereas the original loses in value because of the popularity of Lord of the Rings. The sales on Lord of the Rings are still incredibly high. There are so many cards still selling, and the boxes are not really being opened. Okay, next to nothing is being opened right now at the retail level. and it's not a lot of people buying the stuff right now. So a lot of the sales are what's already out there in the ocean of cards, which means supply and demand are not going to meet up for very much longer if players continue to buy in the volumes they're buying in, which means there has to be some speculators out there because the sales don't really add up when it's thousands and thousands and thousands every single week. So I will let you guys know stuff when I find out, but that's the other thing you have to be aware of. Cards like this, which is going to be things like Urborg, right? The Tomb of Yawgmoth. This card is like another counterpoint. It's, you know, makes all your things into lands, right? You're like, oh, they're all swamps now. With Modern Horizons 3 coming up, these cards are things you should be paying attention to, because there's a chance they're going to give us another piece of that land cycle. If they are an intelligent company at all, and they follow the path they have followed, then this is going to happen. And when it happens, these cards are going to spike. So if you don't own these cards, I'm telling you now, you should buy one. Buy one for a commander deck so you have it. At least buy one. Buy a cheap version. I don't care. There's lots of cheaper ones out there. They're like 20 bucks. Buy one of each. Buy one for like $8. Buy one for 20 bucks. Have one of each, because if they get printed out and you give us a red one or a white one, or, oh, you better hope it's not a blue one, things are going to get very nutty in this world as people realize that these cards are going to have a lot of value going forward. Keep that stuff in mind. Crazy, crazy times. Guys, let's face it. The singles market's going crazy, but people are still looking for loopholes. They're looking for ways around what's happening in the market space. So when you look at those Commander Masters decks, we're talking about Commander, the Enduring Enchantments, the Eldrazi, the Grave Mother, and of course the Super Friends Party Pack. The two big ones are the Eldrazi and the Slivers. People are looking for loopholes, and they have found some already in the Eldrazi deck. Players are opting to buy things like the foil etched version of the Void Gorger because they don't want to spend $15 on a full art extended when they can buy the exact same card with a different look to it, but basically save 75 to 80% of the value. Look on TCG Player. This thing's $1.98. Of course, players are choosing to buy this card. Now, the funny thing is, if you wanted to, you can buy all of the Eldrazi cards that are new, those 10 Eldrazi cards. It's less than 50 bucks to buy all of them. One of each is less than 50 bucks. So what are the other $50 inside that commander deck? What does that mean to any player? It basically means nothing. We know the mana base is no good. All the other cards are cards players typically already own for the most part, or are pennies on the dollar to buy. So really, the core cards were 50 bucks. And the rest are chaff that you can replace at any time or use other existing Eldrazi cards you already have. That's a sad state for Wizards of the Coast. When they build a product, yes, we know they don't build them competitively that way. They build it so you can take it apart and rebuild. But when a player looks and says, why am I spending $200 on a Commander Masters Eldrazi when I can just go ahead, spend 50 bucks, use the other 150 to buy cards I actually need for the deck? That's insane. And that's where a lot of players are going. They're going the loophole route, looking for cheaper ways of getting the job done. That's a perfect example of going through it and saying, I can just buy Zolodok, the Void Gorger, for $2? Are you kidding me? Yeah, you can skip buying the other versions. It's insane to think what you can do, guys, but there's the most expensive card in that Eldrazi Commander deck is like $28 US, okay? Every other card is pretty much dirt cheap. Keep that stuff in mind. And it's even cheaper if you're in the States and don't have to ship it to Canada. I put that $50 order together to see what it would look like. It was 50 bucks being shipped to Canada. But if you're in the US, I think it's 30-something dollars. Nuts to see what you can do by not buying a sealed product like a commander deck or a box of cards and just start cherry picking the singles. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And that's where you're going to find players. This is why Wizards is probably, really mulling this over going, what are we doing wrong? And they really haven't equated it to the price of the product, not the product itself. It's not that these sealed boxes aren't good sets. It's the price point and the value they're trying to attach to those sets is not equaling out to even like where players are willing to take the risk. When you know it's not worth taking the risk, that's when you know it's bad. When players go, nah, I'm not buying a sealed box of that. Commander Masters was the poster child of that. 30th anniversary is the wanted poster of that. What will they do going forward? I think we're going to see stable prices. I think they're actually going to try to realize they can't really do it this way, and they're going to tighten their runs faster than expected. Maybe not right away, but way faster than they intended to do it. When they start hearing back about what's happening, they can't avoid it forever. They can't keep their head in the sand, and they're going to have to face the music. Or players are going to keep doing what they're doing. I'm going to buy this single and this single and this single, and that's going to mess up the singles market because prices are going to go through the roof. And eventually, if they do go too high, people will start opening sealed product, but it'll take a long time to get there because there's still no guarantee you're going to get it inside the box. Either way, exciting times ahead for Magic the Gathering. Love this stuff to see what's happening. And yes, to be able to buy all those Commander cards that cheap was totally a good deal. I know a lot of you guys were telling me about it and showing me the pictures and stuff. It makes perfect sense. And of course, even in Canada, you can do the same thing. So keep that stuff in mind, guys. Thanks again for hanging out. Thanks for being here. I mean, Wizards has a long way to go, but that's what players are going to do. They're going to cherry pick the best stuff and leave the chaff on the sidelines. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here on the channel. And of course, if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Help this number go down. We are trying to get to 20,000 subscribers, and you're the ones out there who can make it happen. So thanks again for being here. Turning on notification bells. I upload content each and every day of the week. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the weekend for the Top 10 Saturday and the Top 10 Sunday Reserve List Edition. We got some stuff to talk about on the weekend, guys. It's going to be crazy. I'll see you guys there. Have an awesome day, and don't forget, bring a friend to Magic. Oh, you made it. We're here at the end credits. That's right, guys. These are the patrons of the channel, the ones who make this happen each and every day. Without these patrons, daily uploaded content would not be possible. The supporters of this channel make it happen. That is your patrons and YouTube members. You guys rock. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. You made it. Guys, I want you to know it is very, very late at night. I'm still here, still hanging out, still producing for you. I know, right? I'm glad you guys made it too. I feel like I'm rewarding myself. It was a long day. It's like 18 hours, and now I'm recording. It's crazy stuff. I hate this time of year. It gets crazy. But here, I want to talk about this, okay? Welcome back to the cinematic universe at the end. Shop Smart, Shop S-Smart, Boomstick, Necronomicon Ex Mortis, The Book of the Dead, Klaatu Barada. That's where we're at. Guys, the idea that you can strip those commander decks down for the 10 cards that aren't made anywhere else, right? Those are the 10 cards you want. And they're that cheap to buy them. Just shows you don't need to buy those commander decks. And everyone was buying those. When you start putting a hole like that in your system and you say, these commander decks are amazing, everyone wants them. But the individual cards inside, when they're stripped open, are like crashing in price. Everyone can just buy them for like pennies on the dollar. That's a problem. They got to tighten up the production runs, man. They got to make these cards hard to get again, and they're not doing it. And until they do, we all get to live the good life and get some amazing Magic cards for super cheap prices. I was going to buy that commander deck. I was going to wait for it to go on sale and pick it up. And when I started adding the cards up, and I sent some numbers to my buddy, I'm like, I can buy this on TCG Player for like $57 US, shipped to my door. He's like, then why don't you? I'm like, you're right. I just bought the cards, guys. Think about that. I didn't spend $200 on the deck. I didn't buy it for $130 next year on sale. I can just get the exact cards I want and augment the Eldrazi deck I'm already building. That's nuts to me. It's crazy. I don't know what they're thinking. But I'm loving it because we get the cards cheaper if you're a person who can pay attention to what's going on in the secondary market. And that's us here on this channel. It's awesome. So thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, you know what? I think we're going to see some crazy stuff with those 2 lands. So if you didn't buy one, buy one. I know it's weird to say. I usually don't say that, but I already have Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. I bought the Planar Chaos ones because they were so cheap to buy. I bought the original, and I bought the Yavimaya Cradle Growth, all the different cool versions. We've talked about that in the channel. I bought those super cheap too. I'm willing to wait, but I think Modern Horizons 3 is going to have some of this stuff. People be warned, man. Be prepared. All right, have a great day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.